You're watching ShotokuTech, Saturday Story Time, 7 November 2020 edition. Welcome back. If you're missing a chameleon, I think we found it. Yeah, this Voltskou's chameleon hasn't been seen in 100 years. They live in Madagascar. The interesting thing about these particular chameleons is they only live during the rainy season. So they hatch from eggs, grow rapidly, spar with rivals and mate, and then die off in a few short months. They're basically the mayflies among vertebrae. I don't know if you remember that Pauly Shore movie, Biodome. Well, I live in Arizona, and this actually is kind of up the street and around the corner from where I live. And as crazy as the movie Biodome was, apparently Biosphere 2 got just as crazy. It ran for 2 years, and it was pretty like a pseudo-scientific experiment, and it was never really going to accomplish anything. Basically, they were imprisoned in this biosphere, and they were supposed to like grow food and replenish their oxygen from the photosynthesis and all that, and they went crazy. They didn't have enough food, and they were suffering from low levels of oxygen, so morale deteriorated. There was no internet. People started laughing like crazy and running around. I think I'd rather watch the Pauly Shore movie. Now, it was just a few weeks ago we were talking about molecules in the atmosphere of Venus that indicated there was the potential of life in the clouds of Venus. Well, we found a similar situation, a vital organic molecule on Titan. Now, as we know, Titan has a very thick atmosphere. It even has liquid oceans, but those liquid oceans aren't water. It's more like hydrocarbons. Researchers spotted the molecule known as cyclopropyllenidine. It's a closed-loop molecule similar to benzene. Cyclic molecules are a vital piece of organic chemistry and might even be precursors to life. Our understanding of our solar system is just changing almost day by day. This is really exciting times. You're going to want to follow the link to the Blogspot article with all the URLs to the stories we're talking about this week, because they actually have a video. The Chinese put this 5-story building on these walking lifts and moved it. They had to relocate this building. It's like a 7,600 ton structure, 5-story building. They used nearly 200 mobile supports, and the building had to be moved 200 feet in a curved direction, not in a straight line. Somebody said, I haven't seen any other company that can move structures in a curve. So you're going to want to check out that video, apparently. Well, if you're missing a spider, I think we found it. This great fox spider has been missing for decades now, apparently. One of Britain's most endangered spiders. Has not been seen since the early 1990s. They rediscovered the spiders on a Ministry of Defense training area in Surrey. They found some unidentifiable immature spiderlings on the site. After many hours of late-night searching with the torch over the last 2 years, they found this great fox spider. On Halloween, we all got mooned. Yes, Halloween was a full moon. If you didn't get to see these pictures, follow the link to the Blogspot article below with all the links to these stories, and you can see these pictures for yourself. It was quite a lovely sight. This Glasgow artist has launched a plastic bag museum. They're considered historical items, representing the consumer excesses of the 20th and 21st century. Every single plastic bag tells a story of the modern age. I felt that landfill sites would be archaeological digs of the future, and our civilization, they would be filled with plastic. They reveal so much about our lifestyle in the last 60 years in terms of consumerism and social history. They can reveal key shifts in our lifestyles, historic events, and changes in graphic design. Great idea. These fossils discovered in Australia, they challenge the idea about Earth's start. Yeah, in Australia, we have the oldest face of the Earth exposed. And there's this deposit called the apex chert. Within this rock, it's viewable only through a microscope, tiny tubes. They're like petroglyphs. They're among the most controversial rock samples ever collected on this planet. They are fossil life. It's an indication of oxygen and water in the rocks, dating back very much earlier than we would have thought in the Earth's history. Happy anniversary, International Space Station. Yes, it's been 20 years of living on the International Space Station, and I linked to 3 different articles here. Some of them have a lot of photographs. This one actually has key insight into historic events that relate to the International Space Station, along with a lot of photographs. And this one contains several videos about life on the International Space Station. So you're going to want to look down below for the URL to the Blogspot article with all the links for the stories we're talking about. Walmart says, you're fired. They're giving up on shelf scanning robots in favor of humans. These robots go up and down the shelves and scan for empty spots to indicate where items need to be restocked. They've been supplied by Bossa Nova Robotics. Well, Walmart found that they had many workers walking up and down the aisles with the grocery pickup and delivery services, and those humans could report empty spaces on the shelves. As well, human shoppers could be off-put by seeing this robot in the aisles. Belarus's first nuclear plant began operating on Tuesday, and Lithuania immediately cut off importing electricity from Belarus. It's only 40 kilometers south of the Lithuanian capital of Vilnius. Lithuanian authorities have long opposed the plant's construction, arguing that the product has been plagued by accidents, stolen materials, and mistreatment of workers. So they've cut off import of electricity from Belarus. Russia's state nuclear corporation Rosatom, which built the plant, has rejected the Lithuanian complaints, saying the plant's design conforms to the highest international standards, as confirmed by the International Atomic Energy Agency. They have a zero-tolerance policy on corruption and an internal control system that ensures any illegal or inappropriate practices are stopped and prosecuted. Plus, they could cut down on carbon emissions by up to 10 million tons. NASA has contacted the Voyager 2 probe for the first time since March. This DSS-43 is in the southern hemisphere, and it's the only dish powerful enough to send commands to the Voyager 2. The craft is so far away, 11.6 billion miles, and northern hemisphere antennas can't get in touch. Transparent solar cells can take us towards a new era of personalized energy. These are called TPV, transparent photovoltaic devices. They're transparent versions of traditional solar cells, and unlike the dark, opaque solar cells, they make use of invisible UV light. These are dry-type solar cells, and they're more eco-friendly and cost-effective. Metal oxides are well suited to make use of UV light. However, the potential of metal oxide TPVs has not been fully explored till now. Incheon National University, Republic of Korea, came up with an innovative design for metal oxide-based TPV devices. They inserted an ultra-thin layer of silicon between 2 transparent metal oxide semiconductors with the goal of developing an efficient TPV device, and their findings were published in a study in Nanoenergy. The advantage is clear. This 9,000-year-old burial site of a female hunter has changing beliefs about prehistoric gender roles. She died between the age of 17 and 19 years old, buried 9,000 years ago in the Andean highlands of South America, and she was carefully laid to rest with stone projectile points and animal processing tools. In other words, they buried her with her big game hunting kit. That this woman was buried alongside hunters' gear is a strong indication she was a big game hunter. And these anthropologists continued to research archaeological literature to see if similar examples existed, and sure enough, they found a batch of cases in which women were buried alongside big game hunting gear. You go, girl! Call your travel agent and have them scratch off K2-141b from your bucket list. This is one exoplanet that is very close to hellish. We've seen over 4,000 exoplanets thus far, but this K2-141b is a scorching planet that rains rocks and the winds whip around at supersonic speeds. Most of the surface is covered in lava oceans. It's 50% bigger than Earth, but it's a lot more dense. It has one of the shortest years of any known planet, zipping around its host star once every 6.7 hours. So you can really feel the burn. K2-141b is tidally locked, meaning that 2/3 of the planet are constantly bathed in daylight. That heat, 3,000 degrees centigrade, is actually enough to vaporize rocks, creating an atmosphere largely of silicon dioxide. The night side of the planet never sees any light, and the temperatures plunge below -200 degrees centigrade. So that temperature difference creates these strong winds with speeds over 5,000 kilometers per hour, and these supersonic winds carry the vaporized rocks around to the night side of the planet, where they cool and fall as rocky rain. This is all simulated speculation, so these researchers want you to go check it out for yourself. ShotokuTech Saturday Storytime is always warning you about invasive species, and this invasive jellyfish has been spotted in South Carolina, off the coast of Murrells Inlet. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources found this Australian spotted jellyfish. It's an invasive predator that can clog up nets used to catch shrimp. They can forge large blooms that gobble up fish and shellfish eggs and damage boats and fishing gear. As the name implies, the Australian spotted jellyfish isn't from around here, and it's been introduced far and wide beyond its original range in the Pacific, likely first arriving through the Panama Canal. It's also known as the white spotted jellyfish, and it gets to be about the size of a beach ball. If you happen to see one, you can report it at this link here. But in October, the non-profit Science by the Sea suggested taking these animals from the water and moving them onto the shore, an action that kills them. So I can only imagine a beach full of beach ball-sized jellyfish rotting in the sun. Okay. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech Saturday Storytime. Make sure to follow the link down below in the description to this Blogspot article that has all of the URLs to the stories we just talked about. Thank you, and have a great week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.